Mr. Elif, who is a small business owner and runs a 25-person company in Seattle. Her morning starts with 18 flagged emails, 3 customer escalations, and a spreadsheet that still doesn't match the total list of returns that she needs to handle. By 10 a.m. in the morning, she's already spent a ton of time trying to find that right piece of data, then going back to her customers with the right set of recommendations and really just keep things moving and get things done. Does that sound familiar? Maybe, somewhat. Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Elif Algirik and I'm so happy to be here with you today. While I don't own that fictitious firm in Seattle, at least not yet, we're going to talk about, in the next 45 minutes, how to find new teammates for Elif, and also for every small and medium-sized business in this room today to help them get things done a lot more faster and a lot more efficiently. All right, let's get started. And let's start with this question. How much of your time from your workday every day do you think you're spending trying to find that right piece of data or information, or really handle a series of mundane and repetitive tasks buried in your processes and workflows? Our research tells us that small and medium businesses are really just doing that, meaning they're going through lots of manual searches, sifting through documents, and trying to find the right piece of data to be able to help them keep moving and really just keep running their businesses. In fact, from the latest Work Trend Index published in spring 2025, we are learning that 80% of the global workers are telling us that they just lack enough time to be able to go and do their work. And businesses are noticing that too. In fact, when we talk to our existing SMB Copilot customers, they're just telling us that they bought Copilot in the first place to be able to automate their business processes and get rid of those redundant tasks. Why? Because automation really works to help you get more done and get more out of your workday every day. What is even more striking is that, again, in the same study, nearly 80% of the SMB leaders have, again, told us that they're confident that the digital labor in the context of an AI-powered Copilot agent is going to help them increase and enhance their team's capacity. So imagine having this extra set of hands that will help you get things done a lot more efficiently, but also a lot more faster, without you actually having to increase your resourcing. And that's really powerful stuff. But what's the big idea here? Why do we think agents are a really big deal? Because the idea of automation has been around the block, at least for decades, in some shape or form. I'm sure many of you might have even trialed with creating a macro in an Excel, or automating your processes as part of your CRM systems, or maybe create rules and filters in Outlook to be able to stay on top of your work and on top of your emails every day. What is really new here is that personalized intelligence at the task level. So instead of automating the button clicks, you now have this powerful associate that really understands your work's context, understands the reasoning behind it, adapts with you on the fly, and really get things done with you and alongside for you. So this is really, in a nutshell, going from this automated vending machine that will give you a response on a click, versus to your personal barista who knows your name, who always knows and anticipates what you are going to order, and also what type of milk that you might be ordering. It is also the right time to bet on the agents and also the platform associated with that. So if you have been following Microsoft's journey, and especially with Copilot for the last couple of years, we did introduce our vision and strategy around Copilot and agents back at Ignite November 2024. We envision that every employee will have a Copilot, and Copilot is their trusted AI assistant. It gives you a simple and consistent way of interacting with AI. At the same time, agents will be and have already started to augment Copilot skills in knowledge and capabilities. that will help you automate those mundane tasks and also your business processes. Our ambition is really to empower every employee with a Copilot and also help transform every business process with the power of the agents. So how can you start thinking about agents? So what are agents? Let's maybe talk a little bit more on that one. So you can think of agents as your new digital teammates that are smart in nature, and each one of them has a job, such as helping you maybe get better prepared for your meetings, maybe help you write better emails, ideate and brainstorm with you, or maybe go and pull a specific type of information or data. You don't have to train them. You don't have to program them. You just tell them what you want them to go and accomplish for you in your natural language, and they will just go and deliver that. If Copilot is your command center, agents are going to be your specialists. Each one of them is designed and built around a purpose, again, like maybe a career coach or a writing coach or a meeting coach for you. And the best part is you can really design and make them your own. So that brings us to what agents can actually do for you. So one important thing to maybe take away from this view is that not all agents are going to be created equally. Some of them are going to be quite simplistic, such as those ones will help you get maybe a specific type of information, or maybe they will help you answer to a specific ask or a question. The more advanced ones are going to actually able to help you automate the steps as defined as part of your business processes and workflows. They will also be able to take those actions and automate for you. And then the most sophisticated ones, the most advanced ones, those are going to be autonomous in nature, meaning they can operate independently, should you like them so. They can dynamically adapt and plan according to those changing plans in nature. They can even help you orchestrate across other agents that are existing or maybe created as part of other tasks or other business processes. So we'd like to think of agents, again, existing on the spectrum. So starting from the most simplistic ones, those are going to be your maybe mere helpers, to more sophisticated ones, to full-on collaborators. And then depending on how much complexity and autonomy that you want your agents to have, you can go and build or even customize your own. Again, one quick reference that you can remember from this view is that the simplistic agents are going to be called as the retrieval agents. Again, those are somewhat like information finders or information seekers. The ones in the middle are going to be your task agents, meaning they can go and take action and complete those steps. And then the most sophisticated ones are going to be the autonomous agents, meaning you can use them as your decision makers. So if for whatever reason, you might have thought about all of this being a bit of a sci-fi movie, it's the right time to start talking about what makes an agent. What are those ingredients or components, and what's under the hood? Let's lift up that hood and see what's inside, right? We'd like to think about agents having a few key ingredients, again, key components. So starting with the workflow instructions. The instructions will tell your agent how to behave. If you are using maybe some of the pre-made or ready templates from Microsoft 365 Copilot, we call them as declarative agents. Those are more defined or rule-based. Those could be supplied through the declarative agent prompts. Or if you are full in the mode of creating custom agents, those instructions could be designed and provided through the custom prompts and dialogues. Then comes the triggers. So triggers will tell your agent when to act. Is it about receiving a certain type of email, or is it hitting a specific milestone as part of your project? So those are really good examples of what triggers could look like. And again, those could be supplied as part of the Microsoft 365 Copilot, or if you're going and customizing or building your own, you can use the autonomous or conversational triggers in nature. Then comes the actions. So actions are actually what your agents are able to do. Are they supposed to go and send an email, pull an information or a piece of data, go and update a report. So again, those are really good examples of how you can think of what an agent's action could look like. If you're, again, using the declarative agents or rule-based agents, those could be supplied through the custom plugin actions. Or if you're using your custom agents, the Power Platform connectors or the custom APIs are great sources of how those actions can be designed. Then comes the knowledge. So knowledge is really what your agents know about the world, or at least the world that you are designing for them. Some really great examples of those knowledge sources could be the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and what really resides in Microsoft Graph. Or you can even use the graph connectors to make your agents even smarter and enrich with maybe the third-party information and data. If you're fully customizing your agents, again, some of the great resources for amplifying that knowledge is the custom RAG that could be found through the Azure Foundry, or the graph knowledge that you can build your own graph and really just pull those resources in the context of knowledge creation, as well as out-of-box indexing capabilities. Finally, there is the orchestrator. So I'd like to think of the orchestrator as the conductor behind the scenes, making sure that everything runs smoothly and effortlessly and without any friction. So if you're already using Microsoft 365 Copilot, the orchestrator comes in ready-made. Or if you are designing your own agents and customizing that, you can build your orchestrator or customize that as part of generative in nature, or create the orchestrator to be rule-based by the rules that you're defining for that. And it's all powered through the same foundational models that make your Copilot smart today, but really just tailored and customized against the jobs and the tasks that you want to deliver against. What's really great about the Copilot and agents vision and strategy is that it's not just a strategy, but it's a reality. And you don't have to start from scratch. In fact, both Copilot Chat and the Microsoft 365 Copilot come in ready-made or out-of-box agents that you can find today in our agent store. So you can really get started right off the bat. For example, there is one that will help you run better meetings, which is the facilitator, or there's one that will help you become even better project managers and will help you make even more amplified progress against your core projects. There's the idea coach, on the other hand, that can help you get better at brainstorming and can provide brainstorming and ideation assistance, or your writing coach that will help you all get better in terms of critical communications. You just open up Copilot Chat, click on Get Agents, and start browsing through the library so that you can have access to those ready-made templates and, again, start from the get-go. But maybe you need something a little bit more customized or specific, right? Maybe you need an agent that will need to follow through the steps as part of your sales processes. Or maybe you have a very specific HR policy, which is most likely the case for most organizations and businesses. And you want this agent to follow through what the policy entails and what specific actions and the steps that this agent need to take. And that's really the beauty of the agents. You can build your own. You can customize on your own. You can design them to follow that specific processes, that specific actions and steps that can speak your vernacular of your own business and really work across your systems against those key functions that you're seeing, be it marketing, sales, HR, IT, even specific to your industries, you name it. And that's where the Copilot Studio really comes into play, to make that whole creation of the agent experiences really easy. As a reminder, or if you have not interacted with Copilot Studio before, Copilot Studio is your single-stop, end-to-end tool that provides a very wholesome agent creation and design experience, as well as the tools that will help you manage those agents and track that consumption in a low-code fashion. If you're an agent, if you're an end user, you can get started using that agent builder experience as part of Copilot Chat and SharePoint. Again, end users will be able to create those Copilot agents really conversationally using their own language without having to program or train anything, and without ever leaving the Microsoft 365 experiences. And as those agents are getting created, the beauty of that is that those agents will become eminently available for use and also with sharing with others across your businesses. This makes the creation and the usage and the consumption of those agents, as well as enriching your existing Copilot's capabilities and skills, all very easy, all at the same time, and all available for all users, again, in your business. On the other hand, if you are part of IT or if you are a professional developer or a maker of an agent, you can go ahead and just really jump in with both feet into the Copilot Studio and use those granular optics and really just customize your agents using that full-featured graphical authoring environment and the capabilities, and really customize all of those key ingredients that we have just talked about. From the foundational models, to knowledge, to triggers, to action, to behaviors, you can really get granular as much as you'd like and as much as you need per those defined business processes. Now, so far, you really heard me talking about what is changing in the world of AI, what are agents, what's the make of it, what are the key ingredients, how they work across and really interact with each other, and what the big idea here is. Now, I'm going to invite my colleague Gabe Ho to the stage, and he's going to walk us through a series of live demos to make this really real. All right, Gabe, over to you.
Thank you. Awesome. So I'm going to sit down again, and where do we go? So being in Vegas, I thought I want to check out a show while I'm here. This conference is great, but I don't get to come here very often, and maybe I'll go see what's happening. And that's where I thought this would be a great example to build something in front of all of you to see how an agent could work, a simple web agent could work. So here I am in Copilot chat. And this is of course, available to all of you as Microsoft 365 customers. And I'm going to click on Create an Agent. This is going to open up the agent builder experience in Copilot chat. And like Elif had said, you are able to simply talk to Copilot to build your agent. So I'm going to ask it to build an agent that helps me keep updated with the latest availability of show tickets in Vegas, and provide me with ticket availability, show description, a purchase link, maybe ratings about the show, and summaries of reviews in a friendly and excited manner. It's going to suggest the Vegas show ticket bot. Sounds great. I say sure. And you can see on the right, it's starting to populate things as I build it. Now it's going to ask me to refine my agent's behavior. And here's where I'm going to tell it that in addition to the ticket information, please include that show rating and a summary of the reviews. And to tell it to me in an excited manner so that I can get excited about the shows as I'm deciding what I want to go watch. And this is where you all have access and the ability to create this agent that's grounded on public web information. And so I have a website, it's vegas.com, WAC shows, and I'm gonna tell it to go find information about the shows and tickets from this website. And just like that, I've actually already created the agent. If I click on the Configure tab, you see that in my conversation with Copilot, it's been updating in the description and instructions for me, as well as recording the website that I want to pick up. So we can test the agent right here by asking it to tell me about the latest availability for tickets for shows in Vegas. It's going to go to vegas.com, look through that website, and tell me what still has tickets. And as you can see, it's going to take the instructions that I provided. It's telling me where the show is, a little bit about the show in the description. It's rating where that rating is from, how many reviews there are, and what time the shows are, including ticket prices and links to go find more information if I wanted to. At its very core, this is essentially how we've created the most basic type of agent that is going to go to the web and find some information for you, summarize it for you, and then present it back to you in a conversational method. I can just click create, and that's really it. I've just created my first agent. I did that in about 4 minutes. Once you have this agent, you can share it. You can go to the agent. I'm going to go to the agent. And you can see the agent will show up on your right panel over there. Just for fun, I had created an agent as well to keep up with NFL news. And you can do that too. So if you imagine and think about keeping up with the latest industry news from specific websites or trends in different industries, or you want to keep tabs on your competitor's blog, these are all things you could create an agent for, and this is a capability you have in Microsoft 365 already. Now, we'll kick things up a notch. Customer service, obviously a very important aspect of running any business, but I think especially as a small, medium-sized business, customer service is one of the easiest things that could differentiate you from your competitors. I know we shop at small businesses a lot because there is a bit more of that interaction, and I get to know the people behind the business a little bit more. It's a very easy way to differentiate yourself. That being said, it's also a pretty tricky way to make sure, tricky thing to get right. And finding your help and finding your customer service reps can sometimes be a bit of a painstaking process. You have to find them and train them, and they have to be familiar with their content. More often than not, you have a giant document, much like this, that has maybe your terms of service, and when you're training a customer service rep, you need them to use Control F, go through this content, so that they can find the appropriate answer, and then paraphrase it, understand it, and tell it back to the customer. You might take it one step further and create an FAQ doc. And in this case, you create and put together responses that you know are customer ready, so that your customer service reps, or you can put these online so that your customers, when they go to your website, can look at this answer and figure it out. That being said, in either case, it's not super scalable when you're thinking about training reps, getting them up to speed, and maintaining both the website and your terms of service document, and all the content that goes into training your customer service reps. So, what can we do with agents? Here I have a customer service SharePoint site, a customer service communications hub. In here, I have my documents for the terms of service and the FAQ. To create an agent using the SharePoint Agent Builder experience, I'm going to simply click Create an Agent. And by default, it's going to be able to create one for me, like you see here, grounded on all the content in this SharePoint site. However, if you have a mix of content in the SharePoint site and you want to edit it to make it specific, you can click Edit. And here you can see we have a description. I'm going to just adjust that quickly. This is a customer service agent that helps me answer questions based on information in the knowledge base in a friendly and helpful manner. I'm going to go to Sources, and I'm going to select specific files from this library, and I'm going to select the 2 files for my terms of service and my FAQ doc. Under Behavior, here's where you can also customize the starter prompts. You can customize instructions, and I'm going to put a welcome message just to let people know. Just to let people know that's funny. What is happening here? Welcome to the customer service agent. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll help you answer them for your customers. Wonderful. So we can already start testing the agent. For instance, I can ask it, what are our return policies? And it's going to go through the FAQ, the terms of service document that I had created, and it's going to find the answer and return it to me in a helpful and friendly manner. And it's going to tell me how to start the return process, what the process is like, what are the exceptions, and it's going to reference this, of course, from the terms of service doc that we had created. Great. I'm going to hit save, and this is going to create this agent that could be accessible from this SharePoint site. And so when you get to this agent here, you can see after creating it, I'm going to copy this link to Teams, and this is where it could get a little more interesting. Copying the link to Teams, I can go into Teams, and here I have created a customer excellence team. It's got a few of my coworkers. We all work in customer service together, and I can paste the link from the agent directly in here and add it to this chat. What this allows me to do is share this agent directly in Teams chat with my coworkers who also might work in customer service, and we can all invoke and call on this agent with the @mention anytime from this chat without having to go to the SharePoint site. That way, at the same time, if any of us want to have a question that we need to learn about or want to understand, we can look at what other answers were provided. Now, you can see I can ask it at customer service agent, what are acceptable payment methods? And of course, this respects existing permissions. So if you're creating this and sharing this in a team site that not everyone has access to, the agent is going to be able to recognize that and ask you or ask the manager for permission and to verify the result or verify the answer that it has drafted before it's going to send it to you. In this case, because my other customer service coworkers already have access to that SharePoint site and the original file with the terms of service document, we're able to simply create this and it's able to respond, but it's done that security check. So you're ensuring that any information you have that shouldn't be going out to people who don't have access to it, even though they're employees, is verified there and kept secure. But as you can see, it's going to be able to find the answer for me and post it there. So any one of my customer service coworkers, between Quinn, between Robin, are able to look at this and answer that. Fantastic. Now, how can we potentially kick this up another notch? That's where we can get into Copilot Studio and really look at how do we create a autonomous or an automated agent that is going to help us take away some of the overhead with running good customer service. Here I am in Copilot Studio. I had already started a customer service agent, and I'm going to walk you through some of the components of it, and then together we can complete the agent so that you can see how you can build some of the entities and components that come together and potentially program an agent that is going to handle most of your customer service questions and create an escalation path such that if a customer chooses to engage with a real person, this agent is going to create an email, send it to you so that you know that there is an escalation and what the customer's name is, their contact information, and what their issue is. So you only need to handle the escalations from customer service, and the agent itself is going to be able to answer basic questions and handle most of the simple questions, reducing the load of tickets and volume of tickets that your customer service rep actually has to handle, but preserving their capacity so that they handle the most complex or challenging tickets and making the most use of their time. So here I had already created it. I created the start of it. Descriptions and instructions are going to be pretty important when you're building an agent. I want an agent that is going to help with customer inquiries, for product questions, whether or not it's eligible. And as part of the customer service team, this agent should have a helpful and friendly tone. I've given it general instructions as well. Be helpful to the customer in a polite and cheerful manner, understand the issue, find relevant information from the knowledge base, and escalate if unable to resolve an issue. When we think about writing good descriptions and general instructions, think about when you're hiring a new intern or a very fresh employee. You want to set them up for success, and you've described what the job is to them. Then you want to give them instructions on how they can do that job, and that's how you should think about framing the description and instructions when you're thinking about building your own agents. I've disabled the use of generative AI here because I don't want the agent to be looking for information broadly from its large language model. I want it to only source for responses from my terms of service doc and not potentially from any other type of service doc that may exist out there. And here you can see topics and knowledge. I've added in the two documents, the service document and the FAQ. Now, I want to go into topics real quick. And these are the topics and actions that an agent can get engaged in. I'm going to click on the escalate topic. And just to show you what that looks like, we have triggers, like Elif had mentioned when we look under the hood. Triggers are the phrases that will trigger this topic flow to initiate. And so I'm going to close this one, or jump over to this one, because I had started it. And I want to complete it here with everyone today. So when a customer talking to an agent says any of these phrases, it's going to trigger this flow. I then added a question that says, I'm sorry I was not able to help you with your question today. Could you please tell me your name? And I have saved this person's variable, this input from the customer as name. I then asked for this person, I then said, can you please provide your contact information? And this could be a phone number or email. And I've then saved that. And then now I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to click ask a question. And I'm going to say, thank you. Could you describe the issue you have so I can direct your question to the right agent? Pun intended. Here, I'm going to say, take in the entire response because I don't want to accidentally lose context or miss what this response is. And if I click on this variable name, I'm going to change this to customer issue so that I know how to reference it later. Wonderful. So now we have gone through this flow of asking the customer what their name is, how we should contact them, and what their issue is. I'm going to then click Add an Action and create a new Power Automate flow. This is where we start getting into light automation. It's going to open up this window in Power Automate. Here I'm going to start an input very quickly and say name, and this should make sense in a second. Contact and issue. Great. Then I'm going to hit the plus sign, and this is where you can choose and find a myriad of different actions, connectors, various actions that you want to drive within your flow. In this case, I'm going to very simply ask it to send an email. Here, I can put in an email. I'm going to put in my own email from my account. And if you had, say, a customer service email, a centralized email, you could put that in here as well. I'm going to specify in the body, it's going to say customer escalation. And here I'm going to say, you have a new escalation. Please respond in 3 days. Name, contact, and issue. And here, here's where the inputs that I put in the first field come into play. When I click on the field, there's this lightning bolt. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to add in the variables that I had selected, that I had created in the input flow just now. Oops. So just to show you again, I matched the inputs that I created at the start into my email flow. And that's really it. I'm going to save this, and you can hit publish. And when you come back here, you can click the plus sign again, add an action, and you're able to add the specific action with the 3 fields that you had defined as input fields. And here, all you're doing is matching them together. So from the first part where I asked for their name and saved it as contact name, contact info, I'm just going through this process of matching the variables to the parts of the email that I want to pull together. Oh, I put it at the wrong spot. Let's drag that down. To here. So that I have the issue as well. So contact info and customer issue. Great. Now when it's going through this flow, it's going to call this email. And after it's done with the email, I want it to let the customer know that it's done. So I'm going to add a closing message here that says, thank you. I've forwarded your information to our team, and someone will be in touch with you shortly. Great. So let's save, and we can test and see how this agent works. And I really hope it works. Here, I like that, thank you. So here, it's still going to ask for basic information. I can say, like, what is your returns policy? And it's still going to be able to find that information and ground itself in the terms of service document and provide me a response. And it's thinking. Great. So let's say then, for this purpose, I want to say, talk to someone. Now it's going to create that flow. And and you can see here, it says, I'm not able to help you. My name is Gabe. Let's just say it's gabe@gabe.com. Could you describe your issue? I am having problems setting up my product and need help. Great. So now it's gone through this process and it's said, thank you, I forwarded your information to our team and someone will be in touch with you shortly. Assuming it's all worked, when I get here, I'm going to see an email pretty shortly up here. There we go. And so you can see the email came from myself because I programmed it in that way, but it has then sent me an email escalation saying I have that new customer inquiry and that I need to respond in 3 days. Here's the customer's information. And this is just one component. I needed to scale this presentation to show you what could be possible when you're creating an agent yourself and how quickly and easily you could do that. So there are, again, a ton of actions and automations that you could run. And when you go into topics, there are a number of topics that you could customize and create. And really, the world is your oyster in terms of how you want to develop out an agent, how you want it to behave, and how you want it to create automations on the back end for you. But very simply and at a very high level, what we've essentially done is created an agent that is able to take a lot of the low-level customer service inquiries that take a lot of time, but not a lot of thinking, off your plate so that you can then, again, focus on what's important. After we're done publishing the agent, you can go to channels. And this is where you can publish your agent to a myriad of different locations. If you need to put it internally and you want to publish it to a Teams or to Microsoft Copilot, you can do that. If you want to put it on your website, you can put it onto a demo website first just to make sure everything's working, or you can then transfer it to a custom website so that you can put it on your own website as a web part and have that chat experience be part of your own website and be able to take some of that content away, some of that load away as well. If you operate through Telegram or WhatsApp or Line, you can also create an agent that can be invoked in those places so that you're giving your customers various options to, one, engage with customer service 24/7, but also then give you the ability to escalate that and handle the harder or trickier cases or people who want a little bit more white glove service. So yeah, it really is that simple, and I hope that it's got your minds thinking about the different opportunities that you can have with agents and what else you could do. So really excited that we could do that. To learn about how to get started and more, Elif can take us home.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabe, for this fantastic set of demos and really make it real. I just want to call out that, again, like some of those examples that you have seen are going to be maybe more relatable or relevant for end users or information workers, purpose to really tackle the goals and key results at the individual level. Again, you can repurpose some of that to be able to help you tackle in terms of what you can accomplish at a team level, or even like, go full on experience and really tackle the most, complex problems maybe at the specific functional level. Some of those experiences, again, I think more reserved for end users, and some of them I think are going to be more relatable or relevant for professional makers or power users or developers. So it was really great to see that whole gamut of what you can accomplish depending on what your business problems and what your business goals are. So on top of what Gabe has already covered as part of the live demos, we continue to invest into our platform and really bring in even more agentic experiences and the capabilities into our products literally every day. Our goal is to make sure both the end users and the makers of these agents are able to accomplish those goals that we have just looked, a small portion of that, are able to accomplish them, whether those are provided through conversational or rule-based agents or maybe more autonomous ones. A common ask that we have been hearing from our customers year to date so far is to have a bit more deterministic ways to add AI into the most common functions and the most common automation scenarios related to that, which is why we're particularly excited about the agent flows in Copilot Studio. With agent flows, now you can have more predictability, more control, and more speed as you're making and designing your own agents. And this will give you the most comprehensive and also like the easiest path in terms of that building experience. On the other hand of the spectrum are the deep reasoning capabilities, again, existent in Copilot Studio. Again, at the end of the day, whatever agents are getting created as part of that experience, we want to make sure that those agents are able to inherit and also leverage those deep reasoning capabilities and the deep reasoning models, such as O1 and O3, along with that enterprise data, which is your data, and really combine the power of these two and help you tackle even more complex business needs, asks, and questions. We also continue to add on more ready-made out-of-box agents and make them available through our agent store. One great and also recent example is the researcher agent, which again, I'm sure many of you see the live demos as part of the keynote session, as well as if you had attended Brandon Robinson's keynote, we were able to demonstrate some of that too. Researcher is really built on our state-of-art models and will help you tackle most complex research needs and research asks. in a multi-turn fashion, so you can use it again on demand. Another great example I want to call out here is the analyst agent. With the analyst, you can really take a very raw and a very complex set of data and then turn this into an actionable set of business insights literally under just a few minutes. And again, this was a capability that has not been available before, so we're really excited about that. It provides you the skills of a full-on data scientist, and you can use it again on your demand. When the deep reasoning models and those experiences have been first introduced to the world, a common trade-off was really the time and also speed to market to take those experiences and then put it into use in a meaningful way. With the introduction of these agents, and more particularly researcher and analysts that we have just covered, it marks a momentous shift in terms of delivering this highly specialized, highly unique, and advanced skills right on demand. So both of these agents, again, research and analyst, are part of our Frontier preview program and will be made available through the agent store. And we're not even stopping there. So we will continue to add on, again, more capabilities, more experiences, and more ready-made, templates and agents, and we will make them available in the coming weeks and months as part of our agent store and agent library, such as the facilitator agent and then the project manager, which will help you tackle a myriad of tasks, but also make the ones available for you that can really enhance an entire business process defined by the functions that we have just covered today, such as the sales chat agent and then the sales agent being two very recent and great examples. If you are particularly passionate about building or creating something or influencing something, as I am, would love you to be part of it. So I'm really happy to announce that we're launching a new alpha customer program where you can really get this early access to our upcoming SMB-specific agents in the coming days before anyone else. So I just want to call out that this is not just like an early sneak peek preview where you can just see and visualize what's on the roadmap or what's coming through. But this is really a chance for you to, roll up your sleeves along with us and help us shape these tools for a real-time business world and impact. As part of this program, again, you'll get a sneak peek preview in terms of what's coming, but you will get a chance to work with myself and my team as well as our product leaders at Microsoft and give us feedback, test drive these features, take it for a run, and even help us define what skill sets and what capabilities, what workflows, or what interaction points or data points that you want this agent to inherit and have. So it's really your opportunity to co-create and co-design with us, help us influence the roadmap, and really build this future of automation. So if you're interested, this is your chance again. Just scan the QR code, just leave your information for us, and we will be in touch hopefully shortly. And I can't really wait to work with you and build those experiences together. All right. Now that you have seen the power of the agents and what you can accomplish in your day-to-day jobs, and I hope that by now you're all converts, where do we go from here? How do we get started? Let's talk a little bit more on that one. Let me just start by saying that getting started with agents should not be an intimidating or overly complex process. In fact, it is intended and designed to be a natural extension of what you already trust and what you already use with Microsoft. So just like Copilot, agents inherit Microsoft core security and privacy foundations. Your data is encrypted, it's isolated, and it's protected at every step of the way, so nothing really is changing there. We also apply the responsible AI principles with built-in safeguards against the common risks, such as the prompt injection. And you are not flying blind. Again, with the power of Copilot control system through your admin dashboard and admin experiences, you will have the governance over what agents are getting created or who is creating them, and also how these agents are getting used, so you will be able to track your progress. And finally, this is really key, as the world of agents are evolving and more agents are getting created, maybe as pre-built-in templates, or maybe you are going and creating even more agents for your business processes, the agent interactions stay in Microsoft 365 service boundary. What this means is that, again, like all of those interactions will be safe, secure, and protected at every step of the way. And all of your existing security, compliance, and privacy policies at the business level will automatically apply. So you can really adopt those agents and scale with AI with the utmost confidence. All right, so whether or not you have purchased or bought Copilot in the past, you have a couple of ways to have access to the agents. First, with Copilot Chat, which is our free, secure, and web-grounded agents, that's the easiest path for you to gain access to those agents. Again, it's free. If you are an already existing Microsoft 365 customer, you should be able to have access to that. And just like the demo that Gabe has shown us, in terms of creating an agent that will help you maybe find the tickets to the most prominent shows in Vegas, you can go and make use of those free agents available for your peruse. You also have access to the agent store, as well as those agent creation capabilities in Copilot Studio, so you can go and make your own. Second, if you want to create agents that are grounded in your work data, then you can go and procure Microsoft 365 Copilot license, which will give you all of those incredible capabilities that exist as part of Copilot Chat, plus will give you the full access to most agents, with the exception of the autonomous ones that Gabe has just shown us as part of the Copilot Studio experiences. Or if you want to just only pay for what you use, then you can go and opt in for a pay-as-you-go model and really just continue with that experience. So really, depending on what you're wanting to accomplish and depending on what you would like to do, you really have several paths for you to adopt agents easily. The next slide is a little bit of an eyesore, but I just wanted to leave it as a leave behind for you where you can go into details. But this is really a great view and the most up-to-date view that shows what exists today in terms of key features and the capabilities as part of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. Again, that's free for you to start using and adopting today, as well as what exists in Microsoft 365 Copilot and those paid experiences. It also shows what's coming up soon, so you can have a deeper perspective on the roadmap too. So using this detailed view at your peruse, you can really identify the best option for you going forward. And once you have identified that option for you in terms of what could work the best depending on what you're trying to accomplish, what your key goals are, getting set up for agents really takes 3 easy steps. So the first one is really about identifying your billing choices and billing options. If you want to, again, opt in for a pay-as-you-go model, you can go ahead and start setting up your Azure billing plans. Or if you want to go on with that full-on experience, you can go ahead and also procure Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses. The second step is about the configuration of those agents. And we just touched a little bit on that one, but ultimately, using the Copilot control system experience in the admin dashboard, you can really go ahead and really identify how you would want to configure those agents. Or you can also use that same experience to assign the licenses for Microsoft 365 Copilot and decide on who gets to use what. This third step is about tracking the usage and consumption. And again, this is This is all powered through the tools that we make it available for your peruse. And you can, again, use it with confidence where you can track the adoption and also measure your individual success or the success of your specific business units in your business. To help you along the way, we have just created and launched a new agent starter kit specifically designed for small and medium businesses like yours. And it's already part of our wildly successful SMB Copilot Customer Success Kit. You can find all of these resources, again, down at the bottom of the slide with that aka.ms link. So you can go ahead and download all of those incredible resources. What this kit includes is it has a step-by-step guide on all those 3 steps that we briefly touched upon starting from how to get set up with your billing plans, which option that you should be looking after, as well as how you can go ahead and start creating, designing, and building your agents, and then how to look out for configuration, the access controls, and monitor that adoption. For end users, I think this particularly makes sense because, again, this kit includes a whole heap of ready-made content, not only for their own individual consumption, but those are designed in a way that they can easily share across their peers, or with their own teammates, and really just across all of the business and with their colleagues as well. And I think this is particularly important for small and medium businesses because we know that they don't really have a lot of time for training. So this resource, we believe that it's going to significantly cut down the time that is needed for training, which will hopefully propel faster adoption of AI and agents. And this will also mean that it will simply reduce the time for you to adopt it and really go faster time to market and faster time for value. All right, so with that, we're at the end of our session today. I hope that this was really useful for you to understand how the world of AI is evolving and how agents are starting to come into play and why those are really the next big idea in the corner, as well as really have some practical ways of understanding how you can go ahead and start experimenting with agents and how you can go and create your own serving your business goals or your individual goals. With that, I hope you have an incredible rest of your day today and also rest of the Microsoft 365 Community Conference, and thank you so much.